Hey guys, today I'm going to do a winter hollyberry design. I'm going to do it very similar to what I have on my natural nails right now, but I'm going to spice it up a little bit. I'm using Connect from EnVogue. This layer is going to be really thin. It's just there to help the gel stick better to the tip. It's not adding strength or anything. Just making sure there aren't any flyaways. There are some, but it's gonna be okay. Okay, I'm gonna cure that for a full minute. Now that that's cured, I'm going in. I'm gonna do 2 coats of white. These layers also need to be really thin. Something that I found with this specific formula, specifically white, not necessarily all of the Lac-it brand, but specifically white and black, I think they're so sticky and thick. And that is great for art because they don't bleed. But when you're trying to put it on a nail like this, it can be somewhat difficult. But hey, it's perfect for art gel, so I'm not complaining. Just something that I have to remember every time I use it. One benefit to being thick is that it allows for more opacity, so. But I'm curing for 1 minute in between each layer. Okay, now I'm going in with the second layer of white. On this layer, I'm making sure to get it really smooth before I cure. Because although this is the background, and usually with the background you don't have to worry so much, there's going to be a lot of space where you see it. So you need to make sure there aren't any pieces of dust in it or uneven brush strokes. I do that just by lightly going over it with my brush a couple of times. And then letting it level on its own. Beautiful. Okay, cure that for a minute. All right, so we have 2 coats of white, and I've removed the inhibition layer from this so that I can paint on it and it won't slip and slide. So now I've got my palette here. See there, it already has some gel on it because I did these earlier. But it has Holly from the Lac-it brand, this burgundy red from Modelones, and then a dark tan from Modelones as well, and then white there on the bottom. I'm going in with a line brush, a long one. I'm doing the burgundy color first. And instead of lines across like this one, we're gonna do a plaid pattern like I have on this nail. So as you can see, there's 2 red lines, one is vertical, one is horizontal, and then on top of that are 2 tan lines, one is vertical, one is horizontal. So we're gonna do that. Going in with the red lines first, and I want them to cross about right here, not totally in the center and not completely in the center of the nail this way either. I want it to be a little off center, kind of over here, but still towards the center so that when I'm looking at the nail like this, I can see it clearly. Okay, so I'm getting a good amount on there, running it through. Then I've got to focus for this. Then I'm gonna go just off center here. I want to be really steady. Okay, then I'm gonna go in and just perfect that a little. The tip, flesh, even this guy out. Get some more product down here. Getting more product on. I'm gonna go in across the nail like this. And if you paid attention to what my right hand was doing, I just hold my left hand in a solid position, and then I'm basically dragging my right hand, dragging the nail underneath the brush, rather than dragging the brush across the nail. That helps me to get a really steady line. Okay, right now it looks a little bit like a shield from like Lancelot, but we're gonna add stuff to it. So I'm gonna cure that for about 30 seconds and then clean off my brush. And we're gonna get tan in our brush now. Okay, and this is done curing. So I've got tan in my brush. Okay, and I'm gonna go on the outside, or on the left side of this vertical stripe. And even when I'm running out of color, I keep going because I want to just get even the faintest shadow of where that line is gonna be so that I can go back in. I don't have to worry about, you know, starting a crooked line or anything. Okay, now for this next one. As you can see here, I just went straight across. I didn't worry about breaking the line up or anything, but this time I'm gonna make it look as if the tan line is actually going underneath the red line. So I'm gonna do my horizontal line, but instead of going all the way across, I'm just gonna go, I'm starting on either side of the vertical red line, pulling that across, and then the other side as well. But I've got to make sure that these two lines are very similar so that it will give the illusion that they're actually one line. All right, I like that. Cure that for about 30 seconds and clean off my brush again. Next, I'm gonna go in with a smaller line brush into Holly, the sparkly green. And you know, these are the spiky leaves that have the pokey edges. And I figured out a way to do them so that you don't have to draw an outline necessarily and then fill it in. It kind of just comes along. But as far as composition of where to put them, I think maybe putting a cluster in the center, not on top of that beautiful weave we just did, but maybe just to the side of it would be fun. And then maybe doing one in the upper corner here. So let's start with the one in the upper corner, just because I know kind of what I want that one to look like. So I just draw a line, and then I'm gonna make it look like an arrow. And then I'm gonna add 2 more lines, just like that. And then I get a little bit more. That was a little too much. And I plop it there in the center, and then I just kind of tease that gel out and make it the shape that I want it. Okay, I'm just gonna do one there for now. I'm gonna go back and add more after the next step that comes after this. So now for this guy, I'm a little scared. Let's do one. I'm gonna do one coming out this way. Again, a line, and then an arrow, and then 2 more lines. I'm doing this one upside down, so it's gonna be a little wonky. No, I can't do it. I was trying to hold it like you would a client, but I have to move around. Adding a little more green where it's a little transparent, just to make sure I get the full effect of the sparkle and the kind of foresty green reflection. Okay, so I'm added one there, and then I'm gonna add one right here. Okay, I'm gonna cure that for about 15 seconds. So I wiped the inhibition layer off of the design that we did. That's because our next step is we're gonna go in with a layer of this milky white color. And if you remember before, the red and the tan are a different brand. And something that I've learned over the past couple of weeks that I knew but was being lazy about is that you should not mix brands, especially when there's an inhibition layer. So if you are going to mix brands, you need to wipe off the inhibition layer so that it doesn't mix with the other, what's the word? The other formula. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so I've wiped off the inhibition layer and I'm going in with a thin layer of All Steamed Up from the Lac-it brand. I've used this color in so many videos. And I keep finding new things to do with it, and I love it. It even looks beautiful over just like a natural nail with nothing underneath it, because it just barely blurs out the smile line a little bit. So now that we've done that, we've ruined our green, but that's okay. We're going to go back in with another layer. I'm going to cure that for a full minute. So let me show you what the goal is here. The goal is to create dimension by layering. So right here, let me get my actual nails out of the way. You see there's 4 leaves. And these 2 leaves right here are a little more blurred out than these ones on the top. And that's from the milky white layer that's curing in the lamp right now. So we're gonna go back over top of these leaves and offset this next pair of leaves that we're gonna paint. And that will bring this next pair forward in the composition, if that makes sense. So like over here, you can see I had just 1 over here and then added 2 more. So that's the goal. That's what we're doing. Again, I've removed that inhibition layer so I can paint on it, have more control. So I'm going back in with the green, but this time instead of going directly over that leaf that I already painted, I'm going to off-center it a little bit. Do one right here. And I'm making these leaves that are in the foreground a little larger, just because that's where the bling is in this design and we want as much of that as we can get. Putting in the shape here and then going in with more color, fixing the shape a little bit. Okay, I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to do one on this side as well. Okay, wow, that one took a while, but moving on. I'm going to now do an offset one here, and then another one right here. And once you get this shape down and the technique of how to make these, you can kind of make it your own. And I'm putting a little bit of a curve in this one to give it more of a natural look. Okay, I'm going to cure that for a little bit just so if I bump it, it doesn't ruin it. And then we'll do the last cluster. Last cluster, I'm going to go a little bit off the nail. Okay, I'm going to cure that for a full 30 seconds to make sure everything is good. Okay, now I'm going to add the berries. We're almost done. So now I'm just going in with the dotting tool. It's pretty small. And I'm not being perfect about this. I'm just adding dots where I feel like it. Just making it natural. Oh, that was a little bit crazy. That's okay though. I'm gonna darken these a little bit. There we go. So I'm gonna go in with this top coat, and again, because it's a different company, different formula, so I'm gonna wipe off a sticky layer. Always better to be overly cautious. And this top coat has totally converted me. I love how thin it is. It's just so runny and perfect for just a nice glossy layer that's not too thick and not too bulky. And you can buy it on Amazon, which is awesome. You don't have to have a fancy license or a referral. You don't have to know anybody. Cure that. Now comes the fun part. Okay, so this is cured. It does not have a sticky layer. Another reason why this is a really great top coat. So now I'm gonna add details of snow. I'm gonna make it look as if there is just a little bit of snow stuck on some of these leaves, some of these berries. I'm only painting on the stuff that's in the foreground, so I'm not painting on the leaves that are behind, that are in the back of this cluster. So I'm just going in, I gotta get close here. I'm not being precise. I'm just just barely adding anything. And I'm imagining as if the snow is coming down from this way, right? So it would build up on the top of the leaf. And if the leaf is kind of angled like this and the snow is coming this way, then it would get caught in the center where the veins are. So, okay, then I go in with just a little bit on my brush and I just hit the tops of some of these berries. Not all of them. That's good. Okay, now I'm gonna go in. Okay, so before I cure that, I'm gonna do, to make it look even more like snow, I'm pouring some clear acrylic powder on top of the gel that's wet. I'm getting it really well, making sure that it fully absorbs all of that acrylic powder so I don't have anything shiny once it's done. Okay, so we're gonna cure that for, let's do a full minute just to be safe. Okay, let me dust the rest of it off. They almost look like Christmas presents, you know? Like those old-fashioned ones where you would tie, you know, orange rinds and berries and leaves onto it. Ugh, I love it. Let's take a close-up of this. You can see how that's now has a little bit of a texture to make it look 3D, like it's snow. Oh, I love it. Okay, well, there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments below what other holiday art you would like to see, or even just art in general you would like to see, because I'm open to suggestions. So yeah, see you in my next video.